As Ian thinks about his master, we jump over to the S-Class legend himself cutting down several monsters, when all of a sudden, a sword-wielding monster called Sword Devil Executioner, who praises Atomic's skills, appears. Surprised by any kind of monster that could survive his first slash, Atomic Samurai instantly cuts down his opponent before the monster knows what even happened. Atomic then asks any monster around him not dead to raise their hand. And G5, remember that random droid child emperor was fighting before? Well, he raises his mechanical arm and says that he analysed all of Atomic's moves and quickly begins a high-speed sword duel with the samurai. Atomic comments that the modern day toys have become interesting and says that he'd like to buy one, prompting G5 to begin its attack. Despite copying Atomic's slash with 2 swords, G5 still easily loses to Atomic Samurai, who slices his foe into hundreds of metal pieces, while looking quite disappointed about the robot's overall durability and performance. However, he soon notices that he isn't cut through the core of Machine God, due to it being made of an unidentified material harder than its exterior. Suddenly, a laser beam appears in the middle of a dust cloud shooting out towards Atomic, but he still comfortably deflects it with ease and sends an air blade of his own back to counter. As the flying slash penetrates the smoke, Atomic realizes that his opponent sealed inside of the robot has already escaped, and says that he'll have to leave it to the service team of heroes. Now jumping over to the absolutely petrified child Tario, as he's being chased by Black S, I can't say his name obviously, when suddenly a slash from Atomic Samurai cuts through, stopping the monster and forcing him to dodge. Shooting over to the duo, Atomic Samurai and Black S begin talking to each other. Black S gets angry though because Atomic Samurai attacked him earlier without warning. Big Kamikaze gets cocky and says that he had no business with him, causing Black S to morph and form an enormous muscular arm before asking if he is looking down on him. Atomic Samurai, who literally just doesn't care, answers with a yes before swiftly cutting the arm off and mentioning that he's fought countless battles with similar losers who can transform and shapeshift into giants, so because of that he's used to these type of opponents. Randomly though, a second Black S then appears from the remnants of the arm that had just been cut off, causing Kamikaze to get annoyed at this gimmick of his. Standing there, Black S asks Atomic if he still thinks he has a chance to win, noting that he has a countless number of Black S's merged into one entity, and explains that no matter how many times he's killed, he will keep on multiplying. Atomic Samurai, still greatly underestimating the monster, rapidly cuts his head off while confidently saying that he just has to shower the countless number of multiple forms with countless slashes to win. Black S though continues to mock Atomic Samurai, as the hero still continues to slash him into countless pieces. As those said pieces then begin to quickly surround him and regrow into new selves, Atomic Samurai just slashes them again and again. However, they just reappear in even larger numbers, jumping on him and getting slashed into even more pieces until eventually Atomic Samurai finds himself faced with such a massive amount of clones that it completely surrounds him in every single direction. With overwhelming numbers, Black S pummels Atomic Samurai over and over again, knocking the hero to the ground and severely injuring him. Still surrounding him, the monster then begins to taunt Atomic Samurai, telling him that he is the worst possible matchup for the hero, and that there is no possible way Atomic Samurai could ever win in this bout. Laying there and out of options, Atomic Samurai quickly cuts the roof, resulting in the ceiling collapsing in on all of them. As blood from the twisted fusion of Psychos and Orochi drips into the underground, we see that Atomic Samurai is back up and now looking for his disciples. Child Emperor is trying to... Over in the water battle, Atomic Samurai and Ian manage to defend themselves against the multiple high-speed jets from the evil natural water monster. I love how I'm just calling this guy Ian instead of Ian or however you say his actual name, because I cannot say his actual name and I'm not gonna even try. Ian notes that his water jets are getting stronger and actually suspects that it absorbed the underground water, before going on to wonder what would happen if the monster makes it and absorbs the entire ocean. Evil natural water monster then proceeds to bombard Ian with a multitude of blasts, destroying his sword and practically cementing the hero's death. However, Super Alloy Darkshine arrives and manages to save Ian by quickly defending him from the monster's deadly water jets with his own extraordinary durable body. The elder martial artist then loudly calls for his brother, informing Bang and the other heroes of Garrou's new presence. Hearing this, Bang wants to leave and assist his brother, but is currently holding off the Black S clones. Having heard all the info as well, and knowing that he probably wants to leave, Atomic Samurai tells him to go and assist his brother, much to the elder's gratitude. Over in the other fight, and after failing to harm Fiora Ugly with their respective attacks, the monster throws his full body melting punch towards Atomic Samurai and Nichiren in an attempt to eliminate them. As Spring Mustachio and Ian rush to their master's defenses, Amahare sacrifices himself for all of the others by rushing towards and kicking both Atomic Samurai and Ian out of the way of the attack, while Nichiren himself shoves his own student out of the way. Amahiri is instantly vaporized by the acidic punch from Fura Ugly, and Nichiren is mortally wounded, being dissolved from the waist down. Laying there on the verge of death, Nichiren activates his mythical pearl to pull out the legendary Sunblade and give it to Atomic Samurai, entrusting him to rebuild it in the future and find the Moonblade. Nichiren then turns to Spring Mustachio and tells him to follow his own path before passing out, much to the sadness of his student. Elsewhere in the battlefield, Homeless Emperor rains a blazing streak of pure energy down on Ian, Spring Mustachio, and Atomic Samurai. The two A-class heroes slowly become overwhelmed, while Atomic Samurai is unable to unsheath his new weapon. He recalls conversing with Nichiren over how the Sunblade is a telepathic weapon, only unsheathed by those it deems worthy. Thinking internally, Atomic Samurai then reaches an intense level of concentration as his mind becomes as reflective as the surface of water, being able to dispel all of the noise of the explosions happening around him. And in that moment, the Sunblade finally answers his call. Instantly, Atomic has his spirit heavily influenced by the blade and leaps into the air, shredding apart Homeless Emperor's enormous concentration of energy balls. Astonished by this, Homeless Emperor summons a bunch more energy orbs and sends them soaring towards the swordmen, but to no effect as the new power of the Sunblade easily stops them. Just as Atomic Samurai is about to shred the helpless cadre, Golden S appears and blocks the killing blow. The Sunblade is only able to make a small laceration in Golden S's ultra-durable frame, but the second the latter attempts to break the blade, it starts curving at impossible angles before somehow managing to cut half of Golden S's right arm clean off. Having shown its power, the Sunblade then sheaths itself, and Atomic, who's extremely worn out, regains control of his spirit. The evil natural water monster then shows up on the block, much to Ian's surprise, who thought the monster was completely eliminated by Super Alloy Darkshine's punch. Just as Golden Sperm and Homeless Emperor prepare to retaliate, a rumbling sound is heard growing louder from behind them. Turns out that it's the big man himself, King, as he makes his way up behind everyone, leaving his enemies stunned by his magnificent appearance.